Hello. Sorry, my watch just I can't even speak. My watch just vibrated right as I went live. Sometimes it thinks that I was walking. I don't know. I think it does that while I actually am walking, and then I sit down and it doesn't ever quit. Either way, we're back to the Immersive Toolkit. I want to tweak the item throwing today to have a charge, and I feel like we need to do a bit of back-end work, so it sounds really simple on the surface, and it is very simple if I want to get it just functional. But of course, we need it to be a bit more properly put into the foundation and the structure that we've already set, the architecture of our components. And I want to do that, so let's just focus on that today. And if we get some extra time, we can take a look at what more we need to do. Where do I want to put this? Where do I want to put this? I'm thinking that we can put a float in the component, and we can make a BPI call for the component, for the grab drop component, to update that float. And then while being grabbed, we can update a widget, is my thinking. And then on drop or throw, or I think drop is also called when you throw an item, but we need to verify that, we can reset that float. And that hopefully will properly cover it. Like I said, it's a lot of back-end work for something that is relatively simple, but this is what it is. Firstly, let me check if I actually have the ability to grab what I need. I know we have like on held functionality here, and I think it's triggered. No, triggered is the initial. Oh no, wait. Ongoing trace timber if we grab an item. How would we grab that bitch? Is this? Well, no, because you can let go of the. We don't need to put it here. We just need the delta seconds since it's been grabbed, which we could just run on the component. Where is it? Now we know that we'll tick the moment it comes into range. And we need it to tick too. Does that actually work properly with the setting to turn off tick? Like the force tick off? Which I think we set up on Thursday last week with the pickup items. Force always off. I don't even think that's working. There's no way that's working. But I want to debug it. We don't have a tick here though. It's fine, I can throw one in. I don't really need it to do anything either. I just needed to... I just need to see the line. Hey, was it? How was your weekend? How does this work on it if it isn't ticking? Snowy? We got snow too. Wait, do we live in this? Are we both Polish? Oh, I'm not even Polish. Are we both living in Poland? Did we just magically both happen to get snow? We did? Oh, I didn't even notice. I know we got some in Katowice. I didn't know that it hit other parts of Poland. I wonder if we're gonna get some more this week. Bet you got more? What do you by the mountains? Oh shit, Krakow is pretty cold today. Oh. Oh, southeast? By like Rzeszów? Get out of here. Even more? Oh my god. This is like where the mountain ranges start, right? It's crazy. Is Chadi? Where the fuck is that? See if I can find it. Oh, it's the mountains. Oh, I didn't know that. My wife's gonna be upset with me. You didn't know where that is? You lived in Krakow all that time? To be fair, I was doing a lot of drinking in Krakow. I will call her. Not if I call her first. Actually, she's sleeping probably right now. How is this ticking? I don't see it ticking. Well, wait. The align actor rotation with player event does not do anything. Update vector bounds absolutely should do something, but I guess it doesn't because... Why? Actually, why is that being called on tick? Oh, you know what? I think we need that updated on tick for... No, we don't. Why the fuck do we need that? Actually, why do we need that? Okay, so the tick is working. As it's supposed to. But I'm thinking that if we want to have like a float value here, that's updated while you're holding it, or while you're set up to toss it, then we do run into an issue. There's no game, there's no bugs. I woke up pretty early today too. I was like, I'm not gonna get back to sleep, fuck it. But it was good because I had a nice breakfast this morning with chili and cornbread. Classic Southern American dish. But yeah, nothing runs. Oh, fuck. Let me see something. Not a fan of chili? That's pretty sacrilegious. So it is the trigger that continually gets called. The only problem is by putting this on the same input action, we have to deal with the same hold and release time that we have for the initial interaction, which means if we want the player to be able to hold down a button to charge a throw, and that charge should take longer than the initial grab did. I don't think there's any way that we can update that without providing a completely separate input action. I mean, there's like some dirty ways we could do it, but I feel like it would just be easier. Or yeah, what is our goal here? What is our goal here? I want to have a charge throw, so that the further you charge it up, the more it will throw the object, the bigger the impulse it will provide. I could bypass the charge here and handle it a bit through the ongoing and triggered, and I could bypass that hold time of, I think we have like 0.3 seconds or 0.5 seconds or something, if we want the player to be able to charge it up to 1 or 2 seconds. It's really an issue with the IA interaction, or input action for interaction. It has a hard-coded, and it has to be hard-coded, hold and release time for firing of different events, which works, and it's great, and having that consistency is key for the interaction. But if we want to separate the hold and release time to be able to charge up past a certain point and then release it, then we would need to do a whole bunch of dirty bypasses to our triggered, our started, and our completed. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Yeah, you have to press and hold to grab, which is exactly what we want, right? You know, think of like a Elder Scrolls game or Fallout, where I have to, I can press E to just directly pick up an item. Or I can hold E, and after a short delay, it picks up that item. And like grabs it, I should say. And then I don't have to press anything. So it's just grabbed, and I can move it around, and you know, there it is. I can then press tap E to drop it. Or I can hold E to toss it. And I want to refactor the hold and release to have like a charge time. But that time for sure should be, you know, larger than whatever that. It's the time needed to toss it is the same as the time needed to pick it up. Well, we need the mouse button free for like shooting and whatnot. And technically we want to use the mouse button for physically dragging objects like doors and containers like this. So it doesn't matter. The inputs right now don't matter. We can change the inputs. We can remap the inputs. It's not a problem. What matters right now is the actual technical specifications of that. From a programming point of view, this is a problem because of the way that input actions work. This is actually a bit more of a complexity, and I might need to refactor the entire grabbing. functionality. I'll show you why. I can find where I put it. Not here. This right here. I can't change that hold time threshold during runtime. So if it takes 0.3 seconds to pick up an object while you're holding down the button, it will take 0.3 seconds to fire the same events while we have that. So we need to decouple the toss. It's not shitty, it's meant to be this way. I need to decouple interaction with dropping. No. What you guys are saying is fine. It's just I'm using the same input action to handle both the interaction, the grabbing, and the dropping. So I need to decouple and provide a different input action for the tossing and the dropping. And I'm not saying that I can't do it. I'm saying that it's annoying that I have to do it. I need to take this, I need to break it up, and then I need to put it into a separate input action. Some things can remain here for the initial grab, but then we have a different one for drop and toss. That's really what it comes down to. Which I thought we had initially set up. Well, that's for the fine tuning. I'm not annoyed by the engine. I'm annoyed that I put it all in one input action in the first place, but it did work. The engine is doing things the right way. You wouldn't want to modify that hold time threshold in runtime anyway. Because if you think about it, this is a different context. The context is not walking around normally existing as a character. My context is now, I have an item that I've picked up. And we should be changing the input actions for that. And we do provide this context, so we could give this to the player. But I need to check if we remove this context when the player enables fine-tuning, because we then have a third context for fine-tuning, and if we don't remove this, then we have an issue. Although, not necessarily if we allow E to consume inputs, and I think that we do provide the fine-tuning context at a higher priority than grab drop item. But I need to check. I need to check when exactly we provide and remove this context. I was hoping I wouldn't have to refactor a lot today, but that's fine. It is what it is. That's why we work on a toolkit. We're not adding art or thinking about a game in the background. Just this. And this will be complex enough for a lot of our uses. Okay, this is grab drop item we provided at priority 1 on begin grab. End grab removes the grab drop item priority. Then on fine tuning, we provide fine tuning at a priority of 5. So E will get eaten by fine tuning if we are fine tuning. So it is safe to put the toss and drop into grab drop item. Yes, it should be. Because then technically we have two input mapping contexts that have E mapped to them. But because one of them is at higher priority and by default it will consume input, the player will not be able to trigger the lower priority things while the higher priority one exists. And that's the fine tuning. So the fine tuning exists, E gets eaten, we stop fine tuning, E can then go directly to the drop and toss. As long as we specifically cancel inputs that might still be held while that fine tuning stops, and I believe that we do flush inputs, but we will need to make sure about that. Okay. Yes. Grab drop actions. We did have the grab drop item interact here. So we were prepared to do what we wanted to do. We will just return this back. And this needs the same setup as the normal interaction, which is a hold, but we need a different hold time threshold here. Not 0.3. How long should the player be able to hold down the button before max charge is reached? I'm thinking 2 seconds. The longer we make it though, the less that I would find it fun. Let's try 2 for now, we'll lower it if we need to. Actually, do we even need a... Do we even need a hold trigger? I wonder about that. I don't know if this will actually run because it's on the same priority as the default. Let me see. No, we could just run it through triggered. Because ongoing and cancel don't get hit at all. Like the initial start... and triggered the bar to show. While triggered runs, we update a float, we clamp the float. We can probably just run that through on elapsed seconds, or I think triggered seconds. Let me see which one is which here. Let me see what these look like. Why can't I see them? Okay, for the purposes of this specific action, they are the same. They would probably be different under different trigger setups. Okay. And we'll want to send that to our BPC via a BPI call. And we'll run all the logic from there. Right now we do have like a little grab item controls widget, and I think we do store... Oh no, we don't store the grabbed actor here. I'll make it separate. Okay, progress bar. What is this up here? Wait, there are widget components now? What the fuck is this? There are widget components. How you doing, Yili? You missed Friday. Street Crep does work on idiots. It can't. Well, this is new in 5.7. Widget components. Instead of putting a parent size bar on this, or size box, I can now put a size box directly on the progress bar. Uses an experimental class. Okay, we will try the experimental class. Why not? That's gonna fuck with my brain. And we can put it here. Look at 1:1 scale. This does not need to be big at all. Let's try 125 by 10. We'll just see how that looks. Okay, let's make a function. Update charge progress. And KCD2? Going spoilers. On Friday I wasn't playing KCD2. Friday we were doing Star Citizen. And we might actually do some more Star Citizen today. I was playing some more of that over the weekend, and I want to speak more about it. Mixed feelings. What the fuck were you doing on Friday? You haven't played Witcher 3? Or First Kingdom? Jesus Christ, you're backlogged on your RPGs. Or Vegas? Jesus Christ. Well, you should do that if you plan to watch the Fallout TV show. I don't know if there would be necessarily spoilers. Well, no, there would be spoilers for Fallout New Vegas in the new season of the Fallout TV show. I want to put as minimal info here as possible, so we'll send through an alpha and just update the progress directly. Let me think. I would like if you're holding it for too long. Maybe for like the charge to reset or something. Is there a way to flush an input while it's being held? Can you cancel an input action? Like mid-hold without removing the context? I guess it would cancel it, right? I bet that's a setting within the mapping itself. How you doing, Rube? What's up? Trigger returns ongoing whilst input exceeds the actuation threshold. Trigger fires only once when input drops back below actuation threshold. No. Applies a chord action that must be triggering for this trigger's action to trigger. That is a wild description. What's a chord action? Grinding sailing? What's the XP per hour look like? Is it actually decent, or is it the new rune crafting? I didn't want to spend money on good hardware, so the first thing I did after I got my job was buying a 3080 laptop. Realized I got scammed because laptops suck. Well, hey, you got a 4090 now, so... Dude, if you have a 4090, you're just fine for gaming. 200k an hour? Oh, yeah, that's pretty good. Pretty fucking good. Well, I hope it's a fun skill. I don't play the game anymore, but I do hope it's a fun skill. I want to do this. Well, couldn't we just put a separate... We could do like an event call if it is exceeding. Maybe I don't handle it at the input level. Or at least here at the context level. But I should handle it directly in the input with our elapsed seconds. I don't know how I want to do this. I never liked the way that I communicate with widgets. And I feel like there's a better way to communicate with widgets. And set them up on the viewport. I don't know what that is. Kind of crazy though, 200k an hour for sailing XP. I mean, that would imply that somebody could reach it before... Well, how long has it been out? I mean, that's for sure less than a week to get to max. Somebody's gonna grind that. 4 days? Wait, has it been out for 4 days, or is it 4 days to reach max? Oh, 4 people have already reached... Jesus Christ. So who's gonna be the first to 200 mil? I'm 96? Okay, Grandpa. Oh, you mean the level. Somebody's gonna have 200 mil. Did any of the, like the first page leaderboard players come back to grind it? Or are we gonna see some people dethroned? I guess people with max XP would be... Yeah, they're already dethroned, wouldn't they? All of them would have been dethroned, unless they came back. Because they've added 200. Yeah, I think Desima is gone, because I don't know if he came back, and that's 200 mil more XP that you'd have to gain. That's a big shakeup. We could run like a timeline. I want the red bar I want the bar to like turn red and flash, and then reset progress if you hold it down for too long. But I think let's just focus on making the charge reach max first. Then we can fuck around with it. Let's not try to do too much at once. I don't like this. I don't like using this, but I'm gonna use it. I think they've done some holiday events where you can get the Falador Massacre. I don't remember which. I don't remember which events it was, but there were ones that recreated it for fun. Yeah, I wanna get better at doing widget stuff. Because this is like the lazy, cheap, easy way to send information, but it can also be pretty... It's not the right way to do it. Is there any new best in slot gear with the release of Sailing? Charge. That should just be... Well, we need to do the elapsed seconds first. Elapsed seconds, we know that it is to 2 seconds, so let's do a blurp. None. So when are they adding Dungeoneering? When do we get that? Actually, how many islands did they add? Like, is there actually content to do with Sailing, or is it just going to be like people are going to go there for the skills and then never anywhere else? You know, they're never going to come back? Will it become dead content after you 99 the skill, I guess is what I'm saying. Or will people actually sail out to the islands to do things? What's the map range clamps? That's what I needed. Clamp to the input range. Yeah, 0 to 2 and then 0 to 1. That's what we wanted. This is one of my new favorite nodes to use. I'm not touching it after 99. Let me take a look at the map. Oh, that's the cool looking one. So this is what we're looking like now, right? They've added a bunch of new, have they moved things? Okay, there's just a bunch of, like, empty space. There's some islands. Bunch of trash mining nodes. Is there a guild? Yeah, you can. They added sailing now, so you can sail all over this. I just don't know what there is to do. Mostly stuff added to, like, the south here. It's not a lot, is it? Wilderness boat wars? Yeah, actually, that's a good question. I don't know if there's PvP up here. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It feels like a little bit lacking. Like, I think they added some cool activities, but there doesn't seem to be that much content to it right now. But I'm sure they'll add some more. Oops. Okay. Yeah, it's one of those skills. I didn't vote for sailing, and it wasn't because I didn't want to see a new skill, but it's just because I didn't feel like the skill really integrated that well with OSRS, and it didn't seem like there'd be that much. Like, not only would you have to refactor a lot of old content in order to get it working with sailing, which is what you would have to do if you were implementing a skill. I just didn't feel like there was much use for it after you got 99. But it's like, why sail to Dragon Island? Why sail to there when you already have a very fast way to teleport there? Like, what's the point? And most of these places you have very fast ways to get there and teleport because it existed before sailing. And now with sailing existing, it's like, okay, well, you have another way to get there, but it's vastly inferior. And by the time that you do a lot of these quests to get there, you already have the teleport method. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the performance overhead of what we're doing with that. I need a better way to communicate with that widget. Mountain Blade added a new sailing skill? I haven't played that yet. I know some people at work at a Mountain Blade. Really nice guys. They helped teach me a lot about like production. They gave me some free merch too. And they let me into their business area in at Gamescom, which is pretty cool. They spent a lot of money on that. But it was nice. Tell them Yuli said hi. I'll tell them if I see. I'm sure I will see them again in the future. But yeah, they were cool guys. Should we just hide it? No, we can collapse it. Oops. Oh, it looks like it. Wait. Maybe we do remove that mapping context on pickup. Let me double check though. Oh, it gets sent to canceled. Is what it looks like it's doing specifically. Which is good. No, it gets sent to completed. Okay. Okay. Do Mr. Smith and Tom. They have their own engine. It's the same. Guys are wild. On Monday, no less. It's the same engine that they were using to make the other Mountain Blade games, so it's you know it's core to their bread and butter. But I don't necessarily think that every developer using their own engine is doing things the right way. There's plenty of proprietary engines that have, you know, produced shitty games, and plenty of great games on non-proprietary engines. We still want to store the elapsed seconds locally because we'll need to throw the impulse to the grabbed component itself, unless we store it within the grabbed component. Cryotine? You mean CryEngine? 3D meshes of CryEngine is bad? What do you mean? You hate CryEngine? I've never worked with CryEngine in a professional setting. And I don't watch pirate software. I watch like one short video of his, maybe two, and I don't know. It's just, he was kind of saying like junior stuff to an audience of people who didn't know that stuff already. I don't know how to put it. Like nobody in the industry would sit and watch pirate software talk about game dev because it'd just be saying stuff that you like learn on day one. The 3D texture is 8 dimensions. What do you mean? Wait, tell me in more detail what your issue is with CryEngine. Exactly. Do we have the grabbed? We've currently interacted. No, that's not the one. Do we not locally store our? Well, I guess it's in the spring arm, isn't it? Is this a function call? It's an event call. I can use that. It's not the greatest, but it'll work. The fill itself has 3 more dimensions? Then you fill the cube with the filler as 3 slices of 3-dimensional slices? What? Wait, what do you mean? Yeah, you have a cube, which would be like what, 12 triangles? How fast did you get your job in game industry after graduation papers, and what degree you have? I did not even complete high school. I have no high school degree, I have no college degree. We're with raycasting, like old OG raycasting games. Well, there's a lot of definitions and use cases for raycasting. Like I'm using technical raycasts here. These are just line traces. But it depends on what you mean by that specifically. Where's my BPI? Let's send it to... Update charged toss time. Like OG Doom and Duke Nukem? I've never worked with them, but I have played them. Just to make a cube that's full. Man, you're working on different levels of mesh rendering than I've even thought of. It's so weird though, because I thought that CryEngine was relatively quick with renders. You've learned yourself? Yes, like, I mean, I've learned from the people that I was working with too, so I wouldn't say I'm self-taught, just I did not go through the traditional channels. Did you get a job in the industry? I made mods. I've been in the industry for over 10 years. But I got into the industry by making a big overhaul mod and worked on it for years. And then the studio that I made the mod for, they hired me. And that's how I got my first job. And then it was a lot of sending out applications and getting nowhere. Easily over 100. Before I got my second foot in the door. And then you just kind of have to work your way up from there. There's no formula for getting a job in the industry, unfortunately. You're going to be fucked over, you're going to be abused, taken advantage of. In most cases, you're going to be vying for a single position with over 1,000 other people in some cases. And you need to make yourself stand out from that crowd. How do these modders make money? They don't in most cases. I didn't make any money. I think I had like 3 or 4 donations throughout the entirety of making my mods, but I never pushed it either. I just said my mods will always be free. If you want to donate, I do not need it, but I do appreciate it. We shouldn't even need to check if that's not valid. That is a primitive component though. We need to send that to the BPI. So we need to check. Fuck, I need the actor for that. Do we not store the actor in the spring arm? No, we don't, but I'm just grabbing the owner. Yeah, it's just gonna add more calls to this. I don't like that at all. I could move this over on successful grab of an item. We could store the owner actor. That would definitely save me time. Oh, don't ask me about LLMs. I wouldn't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Yeah, I think if you want to find a job in the game industry, it really is. There's a lot of luck involved, but luck is something that you can modify to a certain extent by being in the right place at the right time. Having a network, having people who, when they say, "Oh, you have a job open for this," I know somebody, I have a friend who's this. That's how a lot of jobs in the industry are gotten. They're just by recommendations, by referrals. I mean, making your own game can help, but I'll tell you what, it's not the only thing that you need. And making your own game shows that you can perform certain actions, but a lot of people are looking for somebody specialized. And if you spend like 1 to 2 years making your own game, you may not show that you're specialized in what you're trying to learn compared to somebody who maybe just made a bunch of systems, right? And you were both applying as a systems designer or whatever. Well, this person spent 2 years just making systems. You spent 1 year making your own game. To some studios, they may see that one is more valuable than the other. And then on top of that, it also doesn't show that you can work in a team. And there are some people who are great developers, great modders, but they're horrible teammates. Absolutely horrendous in a team. Kind of the sad reality of it. Work with shitcode teammates. It's just an unfortunate reality. You can be the greatest, rock star developer ever. And I don't mean like the company Rockstar, but just the definition of being a rock star. You can be amazing at your job and be the worst teammate. You will never hold a job in the industry. Just one person because of arguing. There's a really good talk. I don't know if you are interested, but we did this was a talk that I was recommended to. Jesus Christ, what the fuck did I do? I just ruined my Opera GX. Oh my god. Okay, so there was this great talk that was recommended to me by the developers over at the Bannerlord guys. Tail Worlds, that's their name. And it was a talk by Kerry Patel, who's, I think, now a creative director at Obsidian, called No Mavericks, No Martyrs. This is a really, really, really good GDC talk that we reacted to. And generally, the gist of this is two archetypes of developers that might sound great on the surface and that a lot of people probably have worked with. The Maverick, the guy who, stays up, does extra work, works on the weekends, takes everything under his shoulders. And then the martyr, the person who, sacrifices their own time to find problems, fix things, and how these two archetypes can actually become the most toxic individuals in a team, and how when they are rewarded, it can lead to a very toxic workplace that reinforces the behaviors that lead to crunch, to burnout, to feelings of what's the word? Jealousy, things like that. Yeah, it's like a football team where you have to be compatible. Yeah, never had a good code mate. No, it's just, people think that, oh, I need to be the guy that just does everything and works really hard. And it's like, well, at the same time, no, you don't. What you need to do is your job. You need to do it well. And you need to be proactive, but if you burn yourself out in a creative industry, you're useless. Imagine a designer that burns themselves out. What's the point? You can't do your job anymore. You can't be creative. Do we force run detach? When an object is destroyed? Why do I feel like we don't? I can test it. Yeah, we don't run detach, which means we might not reset that the grabbed actor and grabbed component, which means certain things may still be able to get run. I don't know. It is working though. Being creative isn't necessary when you have a chatbot that spits out stolen designs. Dude, I swear to God, like if you're a designer and you're using ChatGPT to brainstorm, fine, it's okay. Because your job is just to absorb ideas, and then to modify them, fit them within your, your specifications, your design pillars, fine. Or if you're using it to like condense notes or whatever, great. But yeah, ChatGPT is a bad designer. Starting studies on Bachelor of Business Administration on data processing. That's a crazy bachelor's. Sounds profitable though. I hope so. A lot of specializations. My one and only reason to the studios was specialized to games because that's my passion. That's what's the point of doing a job in life if you don't like it. Just wanted to hear what your experience. What do you want to do with business administration and data processing in game dev? Are you wanting to do like business side of game dev? Like biz dev stuff? Yeah, a lot of places have pretty poor employment situations. It's not getting easier, unfortunately. Use it to type for me. I think that's useful too. Like maybe you're just not good with spelling or grammar or something. You just throw in your writing and say, hey, can you fix up the spelling and grammar on this? Great use. But then, you're using it as a tool and not as a replacement for your critical thinking or something. And I legitimately, I know other CEOs by name who use ChatGPT to do their marketing research for them. Make a class. Well, here, I mean, you can use it to write code, I guess. But you have to know if that code is usable or not. I think getting it like an LLM to code for you is more viable if you are an experienced coder than if you're a junior coder. Let's put it that way. And it's the same thing with design. Like I could use ChatGPT for some design things, but it's because I know what the output should be. But if I'm a junior designer, I don't know what the output should be. So it can't review it for me, but I can review its work. I almost think that what we should do on Destroy is call back to the spring arm on the character. Which would run and grab for us. Toolkit player character. Then we shouldn't need that. Yeah, I was thinking we might not be able to grab the player character on quit, because then it wouldn't be valid. Easy fix. Hey, Mr. Unreal Dev, how's it going? It's going good. I had a good weekend. I made chili and cornbread, and they both turned out great. I mean, my chili is my own recipe, so it was fine. But I made cornbread for like the first time in my life, and I was a little worried that it wouldn't turn out really well because I had to modify the way that we did the recipe. I modified it in a way that made it simpler, and I was really worried that it would like fuck up. And when it was in the oven, the center wasn't rising as much as like the outsides. And I just quickly threw some like tin foil over it and baked it at a slightly lower temperature, and it fixed it. Whew. Hard to explain because I think this degree translates bad to English. Data processing from business world, how companies work. I mean, I think that's really knowledgeable if you want to work in game dev, but do you want to be like a developer? Or do you want to work on the business and administration side of game dev? Like me, you know, run like the CFO or even CEO of a game dev company versus being like a programmer or a designer or an artist or something. Battlefield 6 got cracked. Oh, that's pretty crazy. Okay, that fixes that. I just don't know if we need to run force end fine tuning before we end grab. This might get called multiple times though. No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't because of the check. And grab. Oh, it's weird. That gets run twice. We don't need to run that twice. That's what debugging looks like for blueprints. I'm less debugging and more just double checking the ordering of events here. I didn't know that at end grab we ran force and fine-tuning. Okay. That's good to know then. So splitting that up should be fun. Bachelor of Business Administration is like the most common degree. It just sounds way too fancy when translated. I like to work with development on the artist side, but I think my studies will take me in another direction. Okay, my opinion is going to be very one-sided, so take this with a grain of salt. And if you want to discard my opinion, go for it, because honestly, this is just my opinion. If you want to go into game dev on the artist side, why are you getting a degree when you could be spending that time making art? I mean, maybe it's cultural, maybe you just do it because it's free, you know, it's provided by the government, but why? Why waste your time doing something that isn't what's going to be part of your career? When there are people in the world and the industry right now that are spending that time making that art. You're going to end up with a useless degree that you won't use. And again, if you want to discard that and know that I have a very strong opinion about that, I can only provide you with verification that in the industry, most degrees, most education is completely ignored or thrown out. It just doesn't matter. Depends on what you're applying for, but I know for artists, the one thing they're going to say is portfolio. Show me your portfolio. What have you made? What have you worked on? School might give them a job. It could. School is great for getting connections. This is true. For internships and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's just, if you're building, like, let's say you spend, I don't know what it is. I don't know how many classes you're taking a week. But let's just say you're taking 12 classes a week, an hour each. And then you have another, I don't know, 12 hours of, I know it's probably more than this, right? But 12 hours of class is 12 hours of work, 24 hours a week of awake time of your 5-day work week, let's say. So 24 out of 40 normal hours of work is being spent on non-artist, non-game dev bullshit. That's 24 hours that somebody else is spending, and quite a lot of people are spending, building their portfolio. Companies will not see grad from X and Y and choose that person. I'm sorry. In my experience with game, I'm sure there might be some, but most game dev studios and all the interactions with developers and hiring managers, they do not give a shit about education. Especially for like artists, designers, stuff where it's like creative work. I mean, having the degree on the business side is really important. If you want to go into the business side, I think that that's going to be amazing for you. I mean, hell, even I would want somebody like you. Because I don't like the business side of things. I'm like a day-to-day trench kind of designer. Put me with the team, let me deal with making the game. Somebody else can handle the business side because I suck at it. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. I mean, maybe some of the big studios, but I'll tell you what. big studios that I've talked to as well, if you're applying to be an artist, where's your portfolio? No, we can disagree. This is a disagreement-friendly chat. But you are banned. No, just kidding. No. I don't know. It's just like there might be some studios that care. There might be some that don't. Maybe I've just interacted with a lot of the ones that don't, and you've interacted with a lot of the ones that do. Problem is with E. But then E should be the drop. We need to move the drop from... God, I have so many things open right now that I don't want open. It wouldn't take you because of your education. That's definitely the first big studio that I've seen that wouldn't take like a normal developer. I don't know what specifically job you were applying for, because like I said, some jobs they will care. Some jobs absolutely won't give a shit. No, connections are important, and you might get an internship from it. This is very true. 100% true. Okay, so we've created like a custom threshold for that. And that's your time when you can just drop this thing normally. Yeah, I mean, a lot of opportunities will close. An awful lot. And you might look back, you know, at least I do to some extent, and I look back at the opportunities that I either wasn't able to get or I got really close to and they didn't give me the job. And I've been relatively happy with how things have turned out. I can only provide you with some numbers, you know, like when you're applying for a job for some of these studios, you're competing with, you know, hundreds of other people, minimum, in some cases, especially for junior jobs. There are, I'll draw it for you. There are like this many juniors in the industry and this many junior jobs. Versus seniors. Where there are maybe, I don't know, this many people and this many jobs. This is the toughest hump to get over. This will take years. This is where luck is involved. Going to conferences, knowing people, displaying your passion. Depends where though. Some places don't give a shit about your passion, especially if you're trying to get a job in the industry. You might have to work for some mobile companies. I don't know what your ethics and values are, but they might, you know, go against that. Not happy I was not part of the Hitman 3 development team. But you might make something better than Hitman. I mean, hell, Cutsper and I were making a game that was inspired by Hitman. You could always work on something like that with us. We like immersive sims. Put you in the game, but it wasn't good enough. Where's our detach? We shouldn't need this. It's looking good so far. Just need to get the actual throw thrown in. Tons of people with degrees who are unemployed. I feel like that I'm from the U.S., right? And there's a lot of people who get use. You're not getting a useless degree, but there are a lot of people in the U.S. for some reason. This is like some fetish of our country. People just get degrees in things that have like no potential for making money in the future. It's very weird. And in Poland, you know, you have like where I live now, we have free education. And people are like, just, you're kind of weird if you don't get a degree. So people just go to school to get any degree. And then they go into jobs that don't use that at all. And it just feels like such a waste of time. It's very weird. Masters. Well, masters, I don't think master's degrees are bad. Some, you know, it's like, do you want the doctor operating on you who has a bachelor's degree or a master's degree? I think we all know what we would say. Well, you're right, he would have a doctorate. You're right about that. Pretty sure I wouldn't want any doctor operating on me if he, You are a doctor, right? Well, I have my master's. Sir? Yeah, I didn't think about that one, did I? Okay, but I feel like I would almost trust a doctor more if he said, I'm a master at what I do, versus I'm a doctor at what I do. And he wouldn't be lying, like, you are a doctor, right? I'm a master at what I do. And then you realize later he never actually graduated with a doctorate. Target employees with master's degree, 20 bucks an hour. Work at a plant, no college, 30 bucks. Same situation in Finland. You study 3.5 years and your job will use maybe 5% of what you've learned from school. Not every degree, but many. It's a weird phenomenon. I think it's one of those things, at least here in Poland, it was just, if you wanted to be taken seriously, you had to have a degree, any degree, which I think is silly. And I think there's some of that in the US as well, where you're seen as uneducated if you don't have a degree. I don't like that mentality. I mean, I don't like seeing people as uneducated in the first place because I just think it's dismissive of wisdom and knowledge that is obtained outside of traditional educational pathways. I'm sorry, but I'll trust the 30-year experienced plumber about life. The guy who never went to college and you can see his butt crack at like all times, and he sweats out of places that you never knew people could sweat out of, way more than some doctoral guy who's got his head up his ass. If there was a joke, better would have spent those years working, honestly. I think I don't know. I think some things it's worth getting a degree in, and other cases it's not. At least I can only say in the US, there was a big push in high school when I was going to, if you do not get a degree, you will not end up at any job that makes money. And there is some evidence to show this. But it's just like people were like, oh, I can go get a degree in this thing. That sounds wonderful. And parents were like, yay, my kid chose a degree. Job done. And then kid goes to degree and it's like for, I don't know, feminist dance studies or something. And it's like, oh my God, guys, I can't find a job in feminist dance studies. No one wants to hire me. You'll die. Yeah. No, I think it's cool. Like, you know, I know some people who went to like school for archaeology and stuff, and it's like, okay, it's cool. Like, I think it's awesome that you get a degree in that and this is your passion. But how many jobs are there in archaeology? Like, come on. You know, with the stupid ass massive cost of education in the US, you gotta make some choices better here. Because no politician actually cares about fixing the price of colleges. Maybe one day. But that is not this day. Never, no. Politicians don't fix things. Why would they fix their cash cows, right? Yeah, I don't like this code. We're gonna want to refactor this at some point. It's dirty. Get it working though first. It'd be like, this will be so useful. Sign the loan papers here and here. Great. You guys know Tim King got a PhD in machine learning? I haven't seen him say anything about AI coding. He has. He has quite a few he's quite a few videos about his experience with coding and AI and stuff. He kind of hides the talk about it in other videos though. But I think he also got into the industry and just realized that he liked design as well and kind of did more with design. Double Xanax dose. You probably shouldn't do Xanax. Xanax is pretty scary shit. Xanax will not fix your anxiety. Only alcohol will. No. We're setting this whole thing to visible, aren't we? That's horrible advice. Yeah, don't. I don't know. Do you guys watch the YouTube channel Chubby Emu? He does these like videos about people who overdose, and like it's educational. So he breaks down the details of how these sorts of activities or things that you think are benign can actually damage your your insides and stuff, like taking too many vitamin gummies or whatever, stuff like that. Really good video, really good videos, by the way. No AI usage, but he often says this specific thing, which is if it doesn't need to be in your body, don't put it in there. Is really what it comes down to. So it's just, you don't need alcohol to survive, so you're better off not taking it. To drink through their nose? Who's drinking through their nose? Like something we would do in school. Pour chocolate milk in our nose. You guys are distracting me with some really fun stuff to talk about today. And I'm totally lost in where I was. We have the widget updating. The widget is showing and hiding fine. The elapsed percentage is going to the blueprint component. We then need to apply the impulse. We need to map the impulse strength to the elapsed seconds. Okay, that's where we are. No, I like getting distracted sometimes. Pretty chill day. I think that's a good way to put it, Andreas. Is like everyone's problems are the most important to them. Do you guys ever like look at other people and just think this person is probably going through as much bullshit as I am? Maybe more. I don't know, it's just kind of something that I think about sometimes. I think it's a good thing to think about. Like you just see some person, they don't know you, you don't know them, it's the first time you're seeing them, and you just think, dude, how do we even exist as a society? Oh my god, I think it's a good thing though. Because it's like, it's just like, it's realizing that we all need to just like take a chill pill and just not be so harsh to other people. And I think everybody's just trying to do their best. And people who genuinely have bad intentions and want to fuck you over usually make themselves very well known very quickly. And the people that don't want to cause you any ill will and might, just do some accident or maybe act a little selfishly, but they don't really, they don't feel good about it. That's just the majority. It's cool to see that other people are thinking like that, because I thought I was like one of the only people. As long as our experts are looking good for everyone, but yeah, this is true, that's true. Yeah, that's fair. I think it's really dangerous and scary to know that there are like just those psychopaths and sociopaths walking among us and among us. And once you once you uncover those people, you should just stay away. You should never ever get anywhere close to an actual psychopath or sociopath. And I know you can't always help it, but if anybody like that ever shows up in your life, literally run the other way. They have nothing to offer you. They have nothing to provide for you. I have no soul. It's scary. It's scary though how much like sociopaths can. It's more like, I don't know. It's just people with this like scary amount of charisma who can just pull people over to their side. They know the right thing to say at every moment. And there's nothing that you can do to push against that because you are a normal person. It's so fucking scary. And these people can, if you are their target, oops, Oh, I didn't know I had a button for that. Hit this button. Oh. I didn't know I had a button for that. Oh, you can press... I didn't know that. The button on my keyboard. The mouse wheel to control volume. Actually, you can press it to mute and unmute. Whoa. Amazing. I wondered why my keyboard didn't have like media buttons, and it did this whole time. What was I saying? Sorry, what was I saying? Oh yeah, like manipulation, yeah. Shut up, Braids. Saying you have a shut the fuck up. No, I was like in the modding community for Darkest Dungeon, and it was really cool. It was really chill. People were friendly. People were nice. And one of the worst moments of my life was this narcissistic sociopath who came in, and I became their target for like political reasons. And she slowly manipulated big content creators and modders to join her side and pulled people in until she could destroy everything that had been built up. I should have known sooner, but I was young, you know, I was just like in my early 20s. What the fuck did I know? Scary shit. I mean, after a certain point, I just quit. I'm just like, look, I don't want to, I'm not playing this war. I'm not playing this game. I'm out. Peace. And I just left. Didn't like that you were I was less a fence sitter when I was in my early 20s. I was a bit more spurgy. So she won, yeah? Yeah. She won because I didn't want to play. Sweet baby ink. You probably would align herself with Sweet Baby Ink, to be honest. She didn't win. Yeah, what did she win? I don't know. She's well looked at by developers of a game. I don't know. She moderates a subreddit, probably still. Bully Joey. I don't know. I think that everybody has experienced wake-up calls like that to society. I think you have to. I think when you're young, you don't understand. And you need somebody to fuck things over so that you understand. No, we don't need to store this here. We don't need to store this here. I think we just rewrite detach with impulse. And send it to the detach. Which I think was here, isn't it? Yeah, detach component, and we'll just throw an impulse. We'll just throw the float value in here. Loser bully? Girl bullied him. Okay, so it's very weird, but there's only been 2 legit psychopaths that I've met in my life, and that have absolutely ruined certain things for me and for my family. They were both women. I did not turn out an incel because of it. I do not hate women. I hate those women. But explain what does it explain? What do you mean it explains a lot? I'm out here preaching peace. You didn't Andrew Tate? I did get in trouble on the stream once because when Andrew Tate was like big, I played a little bit of devil's advocate with him. My chat did not like that. I didn't say he was right. I said that sometimes he uses correct information to push something that is bad or twist it in a way and interpret it in a way that isn't good. I mean, you turned out an incel to spy. Shut up, I'm not an incel. I have compassion for those women, not hate. Okay, I don't really hate those. I don't want any ill will for them. Like, I don't want them to die or to get hurt. I feel more just upset at what they did. And I wish that they didn't do it. And I hope they have learned their lesson. Like, everybody makes makes mistakes and does bad things. And it's just like, okay, did you learn because of this? Where's the impulse that we apply? Oh, we fake the impulse by setting the velocity to... We get the existing velocity, we clamp it, and then we get the mass. We can take elapsed seconds, we can map range clamped again, or just map... No, we can just... How do I want to do this? Oop, not integer. We'll do that. I should put this into like a macro or something. Yeah, whatever. I'm concerned about Andrew Tate, it's your influence. I'm worried about why do you guys hate me so much? Of course, they didn't know so they wouldn't be narcs or sociopaths. I don't know. I think you can pull some people back from the brink. I legitimately, not only do I believe that people can change, I believe that you can pull people back from the brink. I don't think all people. I can only speak for sure for myself. I could have gone the opposite way in life. I'm not saying that I'm successful or that I'm an amazing person. I could be in jail right now. And there's a different timeline where I am very much in jail for a long, long time. And that scares me. But it also, I remind myself of that. Like, never be that kind of person again. People won't change unless they go through a very tough experience. I agree too. I think, what Jordan Peterson used to say, which is like, life is suffering. I agree. Did you murder? No, I didn't murder anybody, but I legitimately think that my life could have gone down a pathway where that would have been on the table. Or like arson or something, or, larceny. I know that it could have gone that way. I don't really know what pulled me back from that. I'm just glad that it did. I have something in psychiatry that's called reactance. I have very high reactance. And so I tend to do the opposite of things that don't match with my values. How do we measure that? With a thermometer, I think, up your butt. Let me try. Instructions unclear. Dick stuck in blender. The software blender. Everyone has the angel or devil on their shoulder. I agree. There's a really good book called Ordinary Men, which is about how a police battalion in Germany, a real story about how they ended up becoming members of the SS, I believe, or became like camp guards or concentration and death camps. That's what kids in school should be reading, not, I don't know, My Sister's Keeper or whatever the fuck they're reading. Actually, My Sister's Keeper does have some good lessons. What's a useless book that they're reading in school? I agree. I don't know. People joke about. I don't know. We were dumb kids. We read these books. We thought they were fucking useless, but looking back, they actually did have a lot of point to them. Just dumb kids. Nothing new. What was the mandatory reading list high school? Is this still the same? We definitely read To Kill a Mockingbird, which is a very good book, by the way. Fantastic book. Good movie adaptation for that too. Huckleberry Finn, I think, is a fun one. Catcher in the Rye. Mixed feelings. I don't think Catcher in the Rye is a bad book, but Of Mice and Men is fantastic. John Steinbeck's a great author. I think Romeo and Juliet's good. You more like teach that because it's Shakespeare. Minecraft is a good, yeah. We did not read 1984 in school. Lord of the Flies, yes, we did not read Animal Farm in school. Or Fahrenheit 451. Or The Great Gatsby. These are good books. Fuck off. I do remember reading The Odyssey. Pride and Prejudice is fucking amazing. I don't care what if any guy says Pride and Prejudice isn't really interesting, they're not a real man. Hot take. Really great TV show adaptation from the BBC as well, with Colin Firth in it. Great story. Did read Night. Julius Caesar we read. I remember reading. Okay, to be fair, these are good books. I take it back. I think kids are reading good. I think kids are just too young and dumb to actually care about the books they're reading in a lot of cases. That didn't work. Just kind of dropped it. Oh, there we go. The fuck you mean? I don't know when those errors happened. Jesus. Calm down. I think that's a little bit high. You ask me. It is mass based. Add a trajectory renderer? I can, but it's very unperformant. And it's not super easy. Don't just move it. Don't tempt me. It would be nice to have one, but they can be very unperformant if not written well. Just heard our previous generations used to do farming, or someone passed away in a ditch and what that means morally. What does passing out in a ditch mean morally? Wouldn't have kids read 1984? There's adults that don't get the book, let alone kids. I mean, there's a lot of adults that don't realize they're getting played by politicians, so why read books at all? Just consume TikTok. Keep scrolling. Bozo. Why was the item slot fucking up? The hell? That was a weird bug. Update main mesh material. To be fair, I did modify it while the game was playing, and I think that's what fucked it up. Because I had done this by accident. And maybe something like messed up. I don't know. We'll keep an eye out for that. You're my TikTok? The fuck? What does that mean? Oh, you scroll me? Wait. What does that mean? My streams are much better than any TikTok. Well, thank you. Codeverse TV, thanks for the follow as well. I don't think it's too hard to be better than TikTok these days, though. I'd say 2 minutes of my stream is already longer than the average TikTok video, if I had to guess. I am a long-form video enjoyer. I think I told you guys the other day, but I was watching Smarter every day. Seriously, subscribe to him if you haven't, by the way. This guy is incredible. 1 hour, 46-minute video on like nuclear reactor safety, refueling, showing the security and stuff inside these places. It's amazing. Yeah, this guy's fantastic. He's done so many videos of just tons of different interesting engineering and technical things, and they're all incredible. It's been in like nuclear submarines. Talks about the flow of water sometimes because he loves that. It's amazing. And if you have a kid and you need some educational content to throw on, that's a good way to do it. Very family friendly. Brain masturbation, dude. That's a crazy thing to say. I think I just need, get sent to complete to make sure to check grab component for fine tuning. We don't want to detach if the grabbed actor is in fine tuning mode. We don't have a BPI call for fine tuning, do we? No, but I can just do check actor for component. No. You know what? No. You cannot grab something if it doesn't implement that component, so we know it has to have that component. We can skip the check. Scary thing to say, probably will regret that later, and just directly determine if we are fine-tuning. Yeah, Veritasium is great as well. I think Mark Rober was pretty awesome too, but he kind of got a bit sensationalist and leaned to a younger audience. I don't think that makes his stuff unwatchable, but I definitely prefer, like, I don't know, it's just my age probably. Veritasium Smart Every Day, they're great. They don't think that they don't treat you like you're, dumb or don't understand something. They don't cut every half a second. "20-second spasm" has all this flashy nonsense effects looking in your attention. You just naturally do it in a long form content with no bullshit. The only way I'm like TikTok is my attention span is kind of horrible sometimes. But my only goal for today is to implement this. So I'm happy if we chill out a bit. Jesus Christ, that impulse needs to be turned down though. Okay. I mean, we do correctly stop that if the player starts fine-tuning. We just need to reset the marker here. Why did that look like it impulsed a little bit though? Oh no, I think it's fine. I think it's okay. Slowest rotation. I ended up with multiple widgets on my screen though. Awkward. Should be fine to just skip the detach and run the rest of the logic. Yeah, that's okay. Well, it is functional. Hmm. Yeah, I think it's working. Just don't really like some of the setup of the functionality here. You know, my microwave started being weird. I don't know if I'd say weird. It's just he's got kids of his own, right? And I think that he just wanted to produce content that they could understand and learn, and I think that's fine. But it definitely is geared at a younger audience than some of the other educational content creators. Like, he's smart. He fucking knows what he's talking about, and he makes really, really entertaining content, but it is definitely aimed at a younger generation, and the newer videos have shown that he's kind of doing the same style of editing that you would see in like a Mr. Beast video or something. I don't know how to put it. Just master's degree in engineering. Well, didn't he work at NASA? He worked on the one of the Mars rovers. Like, he knows what he's doing. But if you compare, you know, like the Mr. Beast style of editing or the Mark Rober style of editing to this.
Is that a hot for a week pretty much before we got in here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to make sure you're prepared. Vince. How are you, buddy?
Like, this is just like a documentary at this point.
That's an interesting fellow right there.
Yeah?
He's our valve guy.
A valve guy?
Yeah.
You have a whole guy just for valves?
Yeah, we have a couple guys just for valves, but he's our lead guy for valves.
Like, just longer cuts, you know, and no like background music or crazy effects. I like that. You can just sit back and relax and chill and watch this full-length movie of refueling a nuclear reactor. But it was amazing. It's so cool. And I've never felt more secure about nuclear reactors than I have after watching that video. Like, I love nuclear energy, and I always was like told, oh, it's super safe. We have tons of fail safes, security present. No video has shown me that more than that video. To the point where it's absurd how much safety and security they use, but I'm glad that they do that because it's, you know, it can be dangerous if misused. Interesting culture too. Like they have, I don't remember what they called it, but they have this culture that I also try to adopt in game dev, where no matter your rank, if there's an issue that you feel is present, because and it would be like a safety issue, you can immediately say it to your superior, no fear of being attacked or not heard. And if under any circumstances that person doesn't listen to you, you have the authority to go to the next person higher up. And you can keep doing that even if you need to get a direct call with like the plant manager. And it's like, no matter if somebody's in charge, there's some like lady who was like during the video, there's like some woman who is reminding somebody about safety, and she is like 3 ranks lower than the guy she's reminding about safety. And that's just like, that's the expected culture of that nuclear plant, and I love that shit. Kind of be more wild to see when it goes wrong, yeah. But it was cool. It was a really, really good video. I really recommend it if you guys get some time. And like I said, it's fully family friendly and safety, so, you know, if you have kids that are interested, just you can throw it on with them. Go eat over dinner. What was I fixing? Oh yeah, I wanted to do, if you hold the button for longer than the allotted time, then we want to try to cancel the event. Which I think we can do. No, Fukushima as a trip. I think we've learned a lot about nuclear reactors. I mean, thank God we haven't had something more horrible happen. Country, they just opened a new nuclear reactor plant a few years ago. It took them forever. For example, content was not up to standards, so they had to do everything again, all about safety. What country? Processor. There's no way your name is like a joke about Professor Chaos, right? From, oh, you're in Finland too. That's cool. I've never been to Finland. But over here in Poland, we have one thing in common. We're neighbors with Russia. And we probably don't want to be. Oh, it is for Butters. That's amazing. I love it. I was gonna say Processor Chaos, but I'm like, wait. Is it Processor Chaos? That's cool. Do we implement the threshold here, or do we maybe just send it? Because we're going to be updating the widget separately. We could just say... I could fire an event if the elapsed time is over a certain amount. Your nerdier version of him. I love it. Not this one. This one. The reindeers? Reindeer? You mean caribou? I think they're caribou in Finland. I don't know. Or in Lithuania, the Russians built their power plant in the wrong soil, which is not stable enough. Yeah, sounds about right. We eat them. I don't think I've ever had caribou. What does it taste like? Is it like deer, a bit more gamey, a bit more stringy? Can't do timelines in. Oh, don't worry. I would like to try some caribou. That'd be pretty tasty. It's good. I like it not heavy. Huh. I wonder if I could find some here in Poland. Like a specialty meat provider. I could play an animation. I mean, we would hide the... Why shouldn't I do an animation? Are there any reasons? I can't think of any reasons, because we would hide the widget on drop or on successful detach with an impulse. So it doesn't matter if it continues playing in the background. And then it would get reset. I think. But we don't clamp the elapsed time. Or do we? I think actually we do collapse. Or we do clamp the time. Yeah, we just send in the alpha, which would already be clamped. Nearly 100% sure on that. Oops, wrong button. Yeah, we do clamp. Yeah, and we clamp it specifically within here. I mean, we could unclamp it. I don't think it would negatively affect the widget, but then we would just have the right numbers. I don't want to say anything about Russian nuclear plants. Everyone has their style. I don't want to say anything about, you know, the homeless man's tent. Everybody has their home. What would you do if it was Freaky Friday and you switched bodies with pirate software? I'd probably admit that I was wrong. You know, and the world would be healed. Is that a hot take? Isn't that what everybody wants him to do? I mean, now that should print over 1. We could send a do once. Again, I'm just not sure if I want to do it through this function, which we could do, and just do an event call. No. Well, maybe. Software mentioned I go get some food from the store. I don't watch him, guys. I know you guys want me to like say stuff about Pirates. I don't watch him. He doesn't seem like somebody who talks in good faith. That's all I can say. and his main target is like juniors or people that want to get into game dev but don't know how, and so they're very impressionable. That's all I can say. He did blow up in shorts. I mean, good for him. Like, more, you know, it's fine being successful. Cool. I still think we just run the animation. I don't like the way this is set up. We'll set up an event in animation, but it will need to be refactored because I don't like it at all. Animation overcharged. We will add. I think it's. Is it the fill color? Yeah, I think it is. Not the bar fill style. No, no, no. Yeah. Why is it not adding a keyframe? Oh, it just needed me to add a second one, okay. Weird. No, let's put the zero. Let's put the zero right here. And then we'll scale back up to 1. And then that can just loop. Hey, Mercenary Mage, thanks for the raid. Happy Monday, guys.
Mercenary Mage raided my stream with 12 viewers.
Thanks for the raid. Have a great stream. Well, I hope you had a great one. And welcome, everybody. Welcome to the most distracted and chill stream. Where I forget what I'm doing every 30 seconds. It's a good thing. I promise. What were you working on today? Stores which a pre-animated state with the animations. We need to make sure this only fires once, though. And then we can we would need to specifically tell it to stop the overcharged animation. And that would be unsuccessful detach, which successful detach should send end grab. Expedition 33 shouted out Poland as they did their QA. I think they used keywords for their LQA, if I'm not mistaken. Keywords is a localization company here in Poland, and I'm pretty sure they do LQA. Yeah, we'll decouple this from this function. I can't delete things. I'm pressing delete, it's not working. No. There we go. I feel like we should do a do once though, but on the play. And then the stop will of course stop the animation, then reset the do once. That way I can know it'll fire only once. This is the elapsed seconds already clamped and assigned to range, so we just need to check if it is over 1. On end grab, we'll want to stop that animation. Functionally, that should work. I just don't like our method of communicating with that widget at all. Let's see. That did not. We unclamped it though. Oh, because we're not sending it to the BPC. Did I fuck that up? Yes. This should be up here. We can move this down. How's the job hunt going? I haven't applied to any place new. I'm just waiting to hear back from the ones that I did. They theoretically should have a website that tells me the status of things, and if I hope they're updating it. Nothing else has really opened up that speaks to me, though. Not yet. Oh my god, this float spaghetti. Annoying. Is that disappearing because of the restore state? No, something else is doing. This fire sets it to visible. This plays while ongoing. Updates the toss time to the component. Oh, why is this setting visibility? That's weird. I would explain it. Okay, it's almost there. It's looking good though. Just need to refix the percentage not getting reset properly when you grab a new item. Oh. Like I had the widget glitched on me too. Alright, give me 1 minute. Gotta go to the bathroom. Then we'll fix that. Fix those issues. do. Why is it so muddy in here? Who's tracking in mud? Ugh. You guys see that the new Steam machine might cost like $600? That's what people are estimating. Because Linus apparently Linus Tech Tips went in and said that he believes it should be comparable to consoles. And in some fairness, I agree. But it looks like it'll be closer to 500 minimum, 600 to 700 possible. Or more likely, we should say. Overcharged. What was the bug? There were two bugs. What was one bug? One bug is the percentage doesn't get updated. I think it is due to something not being called properly, because I swear we were updating the progress correctly. Is that the reason? That should be resetting it there. I think it has to be expensive, or some companies will just buy them up and use them as regular PCs. I mean, it could be. But, you know, if that's the case, I just don't know how it's going to compete with... I don't know who it's for, is really what it comes down to. Because, like, if you already have a PC capable enough to run Steam games, you don't need one. If you were a console user looking to migrate over, that price is very difficult to sell. If you were a Steam Deck user who just liked to plug in your Steam Deck, you know, dock it with your PC, why would you buy one of these for what is more expensive than the Steam Deck? I just don't know who it's for. Works about the Steam frame. Could be a middle ground between console and fancy PC. I mean, was there a market for that though? Because it's not even that good. Like, you can't say, oh, well, it's like your console, but better specs. Because really, it's not better specs than a console. And you can say, well, you know, okay, it's similar specs to your console, but you can play more games. Okay, so what's the price? Oh, it's like 2 times the price. Well, it's not, because they increased the price of the PS5, didn't they, to 500 base. It's more expensive than your console. Like, okay, well, I had a console. I don't own a PC, so I'd have to buy games on the PC, right? I don't know. Like, well, I already own a PC. I own a laptop. And it's like, well, then do I need a new PC for? I don't know. I don't know who it's for. Maybe it's meant to be niche. Maybe like this, you know, like the Steam Deck, it isn't necessarily meant to compete with handhelds, but be a more niche handheld. Why is that not getting reset? As long as one of those two gets hit, it should work. Not. Or bypassing, because grabbed actor is not valid. Because we detach the component That's the issue. Although, yeah, this is the issue. It's the timing of things. Is there any reason we can't just run this first? No, there's no reason we can't do that. So we will run that first. Oh. Hold on. A little bit of spaghetti nightmare there. We're interested in Valve's new controller? Maybe it's comfortable. It doesn't look comfortable. I really like my DualShock, but you know, similar issues, you have the drift. Something looks wrong here. It simultaneously looks correct, but also looks wrong. I don't know which is which. Maybe it's okay. I think it's fine. I mean, just the impulse is too strong, but that's an easy fix. I do want it to reset the charge if you hold it for too long, though, because maybe you started holding it in an accident, or maybe you changed your mind. You know, there needs to be some way to cancel this. And it can't be a keyboard key. We could always make like right mouse button cancel or something. I don't know how to cancel an input action. I don't think I've ever had to do that before. Let's see if there's a way. Set a variable. There really is no better way. Input cancel. Local player input cancel event notifying abilities. And that would probably send the cancel? Wait, input cancel. Input cancel action. Input action object reference. Input cancel action. What do we do with that? Get enhanced input local player subsystem. The wrong one. Get player controller. Inject input. Set input mode. Request rebuild. No. Stop continuous input injection for action. I guess that could work. Let's see if that works. No. Unless M wasn't getting pressed or something, I don't know. No. I mean, unless I can do something with this value? Returns the current. Oh no, it's just some bullshit. Okay, so my first thought, you know, in a way that wouldn't be involved in one of the actual nodes here, was just to determine if the player had sent a cancel event, and if they had, then we could run some code. So like just do it via variable. I was hoping there'd be a more elegant way to do it. A2 room size. And flush inputs. No, there's got to be a better way to cancel that. That's crazy if not. OBS crashed? Wait. Oh no, I didn't. I don't know why, but I just didn't enable chat today. God, don't scare me like that, fuck. Definitely isn't possible in BP. The F input cancel action pictured above is only used for combo actions. Oh. That's wild. I mean, I love enhanced input, don't get me wrong. I think it's crazy that they don't have a built-in way to quickly cancel actions. That's kind of crazy. God. They disable every key except one. Don't do this. I want to cancel action, but better send it to the void. I mean, both require about the same amount of work. It's kind of weird that, I mean, you might want to detect if the player is still utilizing an input action. Because otherwise, if you start, like backdooring your way through its logic, that might be bad for debugging. But there really is no other way to cancel an event. I just find that weird. I find that very weird. Hmm. Yeah, we'll try this. Make some more space. I wonder if we can just plug into here. Grab reactor would still be valid. Yeah, but this would be the detach too. Thanks, Processor Chaos. Thanks for the follow. I love that name. That name is so good. I want to do everything but the detach. Functionality first. Optimize it tomorrow. That'll be the plan. Get the functionality first. Well, it's not straight. That upsets me. That upsets me that that's not perfectly straight there. This is what we get while they're fucking around with Fortnite. I could bind this event to... Well, no, hold on. By the way, realistically, a lot of this should be thrown onto the component, in my opinion. But again, we'll just do that tomorrow. We want to reset that when the player actually completes or cancels. Quickly Googled me? Oh, thank you. Yeah, we watch a lot of Tim Kaine. Tim is really awesome. I'm gonna try to reach out to him as well to see if he's interested in coming on and just talking with us. he gave us permission to react, so at least I know that he can see my message. So I'd love to have him on and we can just talk game design for as long as he wants. I can yap on for hours. I don't know what his limit on that is. It'll also be funny when he wants to. I love him. I love Tim. Tim is just knowledgeable. He's really good at getting his point across in a very short time frame. And very genuine and passionate. Oh, that's right. We made an event. I forgot we made an event for that. You create the game, Tim the Incredible Machine? Jesus Christ, it took me a second to figure out the joke. I don't think he worked on Tim the Incredible Machine. Amazing game though. Childhood nostalgia. They did make like a spiritual successor to The Incredible Machine. I don't remember what they named it though. Wait, what was that? My wife wants to be a professional cosplayer. Lust Effect, 18 plus. I don't think it's those. What do they call it? Contraption Maker. That's what it was. Back in 2014. With workshop support. I usually watch game dev YouTube because I find it amateurish. A lot of it is. But there's a lot of people, you know, yapping who... Number one, there's like two people that two archetypes that I'm not really happy with, which is number one, people telling you how to make a successful game, which there is no perfect formula for that, and that's why nobody who makes a successful game can say that they attribute their success to watching these people. And number two, people telling you how to make games who have never themselves made games. And you end up with a lot of slop, and there are some really good content creators underneath that who are just making like engine videos and some here's how I solve this problem kind of thing, or here's how to use this. Those are fantastic. I love those videos when I need them. KCD music, I know when I hear it. The Kingdom Come Deliverance soundtrack is kind of annoying. It's broken up into like multiple... Where is it? That's not the right one. It's broken up into like these atmospheres and nibbles for different towns. So I had to, you know, make my own combos of these. So I took like all the Talmberg atmospheres and nibbles and squeezed them together to make one Talmberg song. I don't know which one this is. This is Sasau. So this is the Sasau atmospheres and nibbles shoved together. And there were like some generic ones too that I threw in. Oh no, I think I made a separate one for that. And the really good guys get lost in noise. Yeah, yep. I'm telling you how to do anything without being asked for advice. Fair point. You played the first one? Yeah. I think we streamed it. Did we? Yes, we did. Yes, that was my psychopath playthrough. That's where I learned that I love to kill civilians. Here it is. Murder hobo. Oh, it still got launched. Probably because I don't check for the cancel. That should fix it. Oh, but now I can't hold E. What's happening behind the scenes here? Oh. Yeah, we need to run that after the check. That is right to be there. Oh. Why wasn't it stopping the animation? Because we only ran that on end grab. Okay, functionally working. I don't like the logic behind it. And I'm not sure about the design of it. I mean, everything, well, okay, I don't mind the charging. The charging is fine. The issue that I have is primarily with the overcharge and the automatic cancel. From a design standpoint, I don't really like that. I feel like I'd rather just have a button that would allow you to cancel that. Like the right mouse button or something. Oh, and somehow that appeared on my screen. How? Oh. How did I just cause that? It's so weird, I don't know. I can't recreate that. Ooh! That might be relevant. Invalid actor grab here, which would then indicate why it but how? Oh, I know why. Because we just bypass on false. And I want to route around all of that. Yeah. I don't like the spaghetti of that though. I mean, we're not going to push it to main until we get it all looking good anyway, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. I don't think that was related to the bug though. I think that was a separate error that was occurring. But I just can't recreate this. But it's possible when we clean things up tomorrow, or if I think about the architecture more, then we can just rewrite it. I can't recreate it again. Oh, there's something there. Oh yeah, there it is. No, let's make a note for tomorrow, because I want to think about this architecture more over the night. To, I think, just remake this. You need to get that. Well, that's kind of fun. I like that. I like that you could pull stuff you see out of the holes if they're big enough. Good emergent gameplay in that if we do things correctly. That's weird. Yeah, look at that. It's not removing the widget visibility. Yeah, let's think about it for tomorrow, and then I want to get that all fixed up. Too much dirty logic today. But the function itself is great. And I think 2 seconds, I thought might not be a great choice, but I think 2 seconds for the charge up time is actually pretty nice, because it gives you that fine control. I'm working on random games. Be creating game developer that creates games. Right now we're working on mechanics. We're just working on a toolkit. Something that we could use for multiple games rather than just one. That's the plan, at least. And these would be mechanics for an immersive sim. Game with the cameras, that is on hold. Okay, that's a good start for today. But I'd like to move most of this over to the blueprint component if possible. We can clean up the old interaction event. Find a better way to communicate with the widget. And then just shore up everything that's you know, all the logic communication. Because right now it's kind of going all around the place. And I'd rather have it centralized as much in the component as possible. My only worry though is with our tick. With the rules that we have for ticking, yeah, but we wouldn't need to. We would just be able to send it on. We could run the update on the component and let the character tick, because the input action itself will tick while the player holds the button. So I think we could do it that way. Damn, I got it right in. Wow. That's pretty nice. Yeah, it feels nice. It feels nice with the charge. There's a bit of a learning curve to it too. But I do want to move the cancel over to, I think, just like tapping right mouse button or something. No, that's a good start. Yep, we'll sit on that. Shut up. I'll get my... Okay, give me a sec. Where did I put it? There it is. Now you can do it. I hope it's still working, actually. Unfortunately, there's no like Spotify API, so I read the title of the Spotify application down here. I'm directly reading the window title. There's a Spotify API. Is there? Oh, do you have to buy it though? Free? Oh. Maybe I could use that then. In the future. That would have been much easier to know instead of backdooring through the process ID. Which is what I currently do. It works. It works for now. You're the only person I found out that uses that command anyway. It's more hacky, so therefore cooler. I like your logic with that. God, I didn't clean up on Friday. I have so much shit here. No, this is... I'm happy with today's work. I'm not happy with how it looks. Like, this is just an absurd amount of code for this. And it's just being wired to and fro. I want to move as much of it to the component as possible. That's my plan. And then I think we'll create that widget on demand as opposed to always having it in the background and updating its visibility. And that way we can create it on demand in the grab drop blueprint component, and that way we always have the reference to it. And then it'll know its owner too. And we'll just recreate the functionality of today, hopefully with fewer issues. Want to read a web page builds a web browser. I've heard that browsers are just, I don't know, messy. Like, the reason modern web browsers use so much like system resources is because they're just using a whole bunch of different like code and plugins and a bunch of bullshit from so many different sources. I don't know anything about it though. Little kernel hacker here on Twitch. He once fixed something in Firefox. The code base is a total mess. Oh boy. Ladybird browser? I never heard of that. They're inheriting from Serenity OS. No code from other browsers. Mike Shaver. Well, he lives up to his name, I can tell you that. Imagine if he just had like a massive beard. Huh. It would be pretty funny. It'd be pretty funny if their sponsors were like Google, Firefox, Opera. Maybe we'll see some new browsers popping into the mix, because a lot of them are just like either Chromium based or, you know, and then Chromium has its own issues. Or they're not Chromium based, but then they also aren't super well supported. I don't know. Be cool to see them. Well, I wanted to jump over and do some more Star Citizen today, because I rented a ship and I want to get some use out of it, and I can talk more about the game because I played it over the weekend. And then during that, I will think about during tonight, I'll think about how we set this up, because I am not happy with the logic here at all. And I would like Kotspur to do some code review for us too. I just want him to see how my architecture is and if he likes the general premise. Get to see things crash as he demos, so it's quite nice. That reminds me of when Larian Studios first demoed Baldur's Gate 3, and the game was like really fucking buggy and was crashing, but I appreciated the transparent look. Needs to take it in stride. Be like, oop, alright, we'll get that fixed. I mean, we have like multiple validity checks here. We then have multiple widget calls. That's shitty. Another actor check. Although I think this could be skipped because we do a validity check within the actor, or within this function. So that could be cleaned up heavily. This is a mess too. Toss canceling is a mess. I mean, this could be like I don't know. I could set up some custom functions to take an actor and do some BPI calls. And just more widget mess. No. Outcome is good though. Outcome is a step in the right direction with it. I think it'd be pretty cool if we could have like some sticky turrets or something, so you could like pick up a little turret kit, throw it at a wall, it sticks, and turns into a turret. That would be awesome. Very doable. Being able to throw key cards into doors is something I wanted to have happen. Like across the room. If you can actually aim and hit it.
Uh-oh, retard alert!
Me?
Retard alert, class!
No. Actually, yes, I was like that in school. Okay. No, that was good. It's a good start. But I'm going to talk with Cuthbert about the architecture for it and see if he has some ideas for better widget communication. And then I want to talk to him about our plans for like an inventory system, which we could work on. Inventories. You know what I want to have for an inventory is Tetris. I want Tetris. I want inventory Tetris. I want you to be able to pick up Tetris blocks, rotate them in your inventory, auto sort. I need inventory Tetris pumped into my veins. But I've never done a Tetris inventory system before. And it kind of scares me to think about the logic behind that. I think that'll take us a couple weeks minimum. Probably some good tutorials about it though. Be the best inventory system. I don't want to follow. I don't want to follow a tutorial though, if I can help it. Full lines disappear? Oh fuck, dude. That would be funny. I don't know how you would design something like that, but that would be really funny. First, dirty implementation of throw charging. Need to clean up logic and move more to BPC. Is it just me, or has there not been a big mobile game to pop off since Pokemon Go? There's a lot of people trying to recreate Pokemon Go. Base exit inventory. I mean, there's a lot of really good examples of inventory Tetris. Look. Could you rotate items while you were holding them? Oh yeah, wait. Like a custom mod added item rotation. So not by default. PoE-like inventory? Well, I think that if you make something like this, there should absolutely be like an auto sort button. And it should automatically try to rotate things, potentially. I can only say I for sure want grids. And some type of crafting system that's easy to use in the inventory. Like combining items and such. But we'll have to do some research on different games and how they accomplish it and find a solution for it. I like what Dredge did. Not a real Dredge ship. Where like different ship upgrades and components had different sizes and slots. This reminded me of an old game that I did some early design for, where it was like a tavern simulator, like a tavern keeper kind of game, and I used Scrabble as an inspiration to have certain parts of your bar be more favorable to different customers, like the dark. It was grid based, so like the dark corner would provide like darkness for people with traits that really liked it. You could of course seat them anywhere, but if you seated them in a place that they liked, they would have higher happiness and such. I don't know if we could work that into just a general inventory. Probably not. We'll see. We will see. We'll do a lot of research when it comes time to work on our inventory. And see if we can find some cool, easy ways to make something like this. If it's too technically challenging, though, it might go a little bit over my head, just because I'm more design focused than programming focused. But we can always get Kotspur's help if we need it, because he's worked on multiple inventories for games, including grid-based inventories. Either way, let's play some Star Citizen, because I want to talk about it. I played it a lot this weekend, and I have... Let's just put it this way. I got really lucky on Friday last week playing it, because apparently nobody else was playing it, so we had like no server issues. Saturday and Sunday, oh boy, I can see why people think the game is broken. Star Citizen. And it has a long way to go. Let me just say that. You hate grid-based inventories. Let's jump over to it. Let's jump over to it and we'll play some of that.